Alright everyone, so tonight we are going to do a review of a Paydirt from eBay seller. Oops, wrong one, let me find the right one here. Smoky Mountain Paydirts. This bag was $22 from North Carolina. It says gold concentrates from Smoky Mountain Paydirt. And it is a 5-pound bag. So again, $22. We are just going to go through this here real quick. This is the bag it came in. I'll wash that out in the end, but it had a really weird hole in it, so I just moved it into another company that I had done before. I'm going to sift it down into this. I just want to show you the pans quick. Again, there's nothing in any of them. So we'll sink that first one down as a safety pan. And my sniffer bottle there. I'll put that together in a little bit. Again, this is North Carolina Paydirt. So a lot of this it's real fine. Most of the stuff that I've been getting from that area has a lot of clay in it too. So this is dried, which I do like normally, just for the simple fact that that clay and all those pieces are broken up. When things come wet, especially from those areas, clay can really be stubborn. We're just going to do this pretty quick into just those two classifications. Again, I'm not going to use the Miller table tonight. This isn't a huge review, so we're just sifting that Paydirt down, getting those larger rocks out of there, making it easier to get that fine gold, which is what about 90% of the gold in the world actually is. We all dream of those big nuggets, the 8-pound, 10-pound, 12-pound nuggets, but the reality is that most of the gold in the world is smaller than that. So we'll set that aside with the bag, and we'll go through that finer stuff a little bit later. Just go through these larger rocks. Two nice little flakes there, if you can see it. That one's real big, and the other one's just over here. So I'm just going to keep that in there. starting to see that rich orange. Again, North Carolina, Arizona really has that real thick discoloration from the sands and the clays. So it's good to see that. Shipping, this was here in about 5 days. Was a little bit longer. No, nothing that wasn't promised. He promised that it would be out within 2 business days or 3 business days, and he got it out in 2. I really like fast shipping. Again, I probably told you guys that before, but when I order something, you know, I check the tracking twice a day just to see where it is. So. Okay. I'm going to dump it into that other pan, but it's just going to come back into this one anyway. So. And then just to cover a few of the basics, you guys have been great with comments, and hope I'm getting to your requests. You know, be great about emailing Paydirts or commenting on Paydirts that you want to try. You know, I have had several offers from companies to buy their Paydirt at discount, but that really defeats the whole purpose of this channel. It's not really about me saving money on a bag of Paydirt. And so I always do deny those requests. You know, and not to say that I won't try their Paydirt. I'm just not going to take a discount on it. You know, like I said, that really does you guys as viewers nothing. Sure, it saved me 20 bucks, but it really doesn't do much for my integrity at the end of the day. So. Again, I really like to try to show this tap, but so this is from that first classification of rocks. So yeah, good or bad, that's why I do it. So I hope nobody takes it personal. Products are a different story. You know, I always want to bring you guys new products, and I will test anything that's gold related for the industry, for anybody. Just comment me, email me. We can arrange your shipping arrangements. I'll give you my address, those type of things. But as far as Paydirt goes, again, you know, I've talked to you guys several times about why I started doing this, and I think it's catching on. We're all starting to share our experiences and talk about the different amounts that we're getting. People are getting smarter. They're weighing their Paydirt, or excuse me, their gold, instead of just saying, "Oh, look what's in the bottom of my pan." You know, if you're just trying this out and everybody's asking for advice all the time, one of the first things I do is go out and buy a $10 digital scale. You know, that's the cheapest you're going to get by with. You know, to spend a little bit more money from there, you're obviously going to get a better scale, but at least that cheap $10 scale is going to tell you roughly what's in your Paydirt when you what your gold take is once you're through the Paydirt. So other than that, there's no way to know truly what you're getting. You know, you can be happy with color, and I can tell you I've had some gold that I thought looked beautiful, that you know, I thought was some of the biggest nuggets I had found. But with placer gold, when it's so thin and so flat, it can take up a large area and really not weigh a whole lot. Alright guys, this sand is stubborn. again, a lot of the comments that we're talking about are things like, you know, why is my gold floating? And one thing I always try to talk about is that I use jet dry. And sometimes I don't get into why I use jet dry or why I use dish soap. And you have plenty of people tell you differently. I'm just telling you from my experience and what I've seen in the pan, surface tension makes gold float. The surface tension on the water creates, obviously, as it says, a surface for the gold to capture onto and simply float out those edges and those ridges because it's on top of the surface. All that material you're trying to pan is underneath it. So that's what we got out of the first classification of rocks there. And so for me, like I said, people had talked about, yeah, they saw me using it before, but really didn't know why I was using it. That's why I use it. I don't want my gold floating, shoot, out of my pan. So. All right. And then what I'm going to do now is just do a quick hard pause, just because, again, I haven't got a new video camera, and I apologize. This one only will film for 20 minutes, and then it shuts off. So I'm just going to do a hard pause here, and then we'll pick right back up. All right, so now we're going to get into that Paydirt. And this is just sitting here. I'm just going to show you that quick. I am going to dump as I get down, like I usually do, thin it out and just dump the finer material into that pan to finish later on. Like always, I'll pan this first one down and then back pan it a little bit so that we can see what's in there from that first little scoop, so you guys can gauge. This stuff has got a lot of black sands. You guys can see that right there. You know, that's from one little dump full out of there. I can show you that. You're just starting to see those little flakes right there showing up. You can kind of see it maybe under the water a little better. And again, everybody keep commenting. Let's keep talking to each other. The more and more that we can keep our experiences public, I think the better off we'll all be, and we'll all be happier with the results of what we're buying. Again, those 4 or 5 little flakes there, that sparkly stuff that you see, that's your gold, or my gold. And again, maybe to go back to a couple of those techniques and how you're using a gold pan. Maybe I'll show you that in the bigger pan. This small one obviously just condenses everything. Just need to get a bigger Garrett pan. I do like these Garrett pans for the traps, the riffles. Those other pans, you know, they have flares on them basically that can stop stuff from going over a hill, but I do like these because it traps it down in those grooves. Another thing that I've been talking to you a lot about too, you know, gold prospecting and panning and the hunt for gold is something that you guys are interested in. Always look at your local chapters of the GPAA. You know, there's plenty of people out there that talk to each other. They're always willing to share equipment if you know you're somewhere that you can prospect, and or if you're a member of the PGA and you're going to their claims. You know, that's one of the benefits of the membership is to be able to mine on and prospect on their claims. But really, it is a community as a whole. And I know a lot of people sometimes are nervous. They don't want to, you know, call themselves a prospector because they're so new. And the reality is there's plenty of people out there that you probably run into on Facebook that think they're the all-knowing gods of gold. I think if you talk to the true people and the ones that are doing it for the hobby and the enjoyment, and you know, they're not going, we're all going for that $1 million payday, but I think if you talk to those people, those are the ones that are really willing to help. They're willing to give you advice and you know, talk to about machines that they use or areas that they might go to. So those are the people I'd suggest you surround yourself with. I love Facebook. I love you guys on Facebook, but there's a lot of Facebook groups out there. You know that old people make them and they're private, or they're secret groups because again, they feel that they're that much better than you, so they don't want to associate with you. You know, those aren't the groups to go into anyways. Those guys are most of the time don't even know what they're doing to begin with either. So you know, and gold prospecting, you'll talk to people and you better be learning something every day. There's always something new or something different that you can try. So this pan's just really conditioned, so I just want to make sure because I dumped everything in there that I don't have a lot of fines sitting in there, and we don't. I do have another eBay Paydirt here that I'll be reviewing. I have a private website from a company or a private miner called SimKiss Mining. That's out of Arizona. Trying to think of where else. I think I have a couple others on the way. Took a little break for the holidays, or after the holidays, excuse me. Hope everyone had good holidays, safe holidays yourself. What I really have been looking for is an Ohio Paydirt. There's really only one seller that I can find right now. And to be truthful, I just don't like his listing. He's got a $150 10-pound, I think it is, or 5-pound bag of trommel cleanouts from the trommel. But the listing just sounds real fishy, and I don't know. I'm kind of like that, guys. I like to deal with honest people. I'm a small town boy. Lived in the city long enough. Came back home to settle, right? A couple nicer little chunks here. See those there and there. We're just gonna pour that all into the big finishing pan, or a bigger finishing pan. So when we talk about the gold pan, we're talking about water as much as we are surface and tension. So if you look at your material, you should always have your water usually only be about a ½ an inch to an inch around that material, because the more water you have in there, when you start off the pan full with everything, that's fine. It uses a huge amount of water. But when you start getting down where you're starting to do your cleaning off, the more water you have in here, the wider this can spread out on the surface. Okay, do you see how much wider it got? If we slow down this water and we bring it in to a smaller, again, just about a ½ inch around it, we really contain that. You can see it's not spreading from side to side because the water's not there, so it's not going to move that way. And again, you're letting the pan do the work. So you're holding the pan at an angle, and you're basically just dropping it in and picking it out. That's the motion when you do it that way. I like to just sit it in to the water, but really until you get used to it, you could actually just clean it off, drop it in, lift it out. Drop it in, lift it out. Drop it in, lift it out. Until you get that motion down and that fluidity, that's not a problem at all. Because really that's the ideal angle. You're letting that water run off and just take those light materials with it. And again, as you thin out more and more material, you start using less and less water. You're controlling that dirt to work within the restraints that you're giving it so that it's stratifying decently. So you use those vented edges, you get a good pile down. You can always turn back over here. Usually I like to clear this out a little better, but this is a lot of black sand in here. So for me, I'm going to clean this out just because there's such a big pile. is I'm going to do that back pan and tap. Now right here's a little piece of gold starting to show up. You can see that right on top there. Okay, but we're just going to keep tapping, and we might lose that piece the first time through. We might lose 25 underneath of that, but I'm not getting rid of this material this time. We're trying to get those heavier black sands out of the way, and we're just going to start cleaning off the excess. I'm just going to back pan some of that stuff away. Again, less and less water, because we're not moving as large a material. I'm going to try to do all of this on tape here, but this really is some thick black sand. So for challenge to pan, I will definitely rate this a challenge. I don't know that as a beginner you're going to be able to get the gold to drop down through all that black sand. You know, that's the catch-22 about everything, guys, is we want to see the black sand, but what the black sand does, unless you're stratifying right and really breaking up that material, the black sand really makes it a lot harder for you to get at your gold. So again, we're just thinning this back. I'm just going to take this first row right here. Hopefully you can see that. No, you can't. Right here. There you saw it. And again, then we'll just re-stratify this material again. Really get those tapping in here, because this is a very stubborn black sands. We'll try to clear out a little bit more. Always be watching your riffles. As we're going down, it's okay for this black sand to go here. That's what these riffles are for. When you start seeing gold in the middle riffle, like that right there, maybe you can't see it, but we'll try again. Yeah, you see that speck? That's when you want to pull back, re-stratify again, because your gold's starting to get carried up a little too high. Again, for all you professionals that watch, you probably don't need to go through technique. Fast forward to the end. I appreciate all your comments, reviews, but there's a lot of hobbyists out there that are just looking to get into the hobby in the pastime, and you know, really want a video that shows them how gold acts, how the black sands act, and gives them an idea of what to expect and how to get the gold out of the pan. So this is definitely the movement I haven't mastered trying to show you guys yet. I film a lot on my own, but maybe one of these times when I have to film that motion as well. This is just annoying me. There's these two. Alright, sorry about that. I guess I didn't have my camera fully charged. So we're still in the middle of this Paydirt. And I actually was a little confused, so I did take a minute to check. I write everything down as it comes in. This actually is Paydirt, and I apologize for this, Kevin, but from Kevin Kramer. His seller ID is eBay seller ID is Kramer 246769, and this is out of New Mexico, or excuse me, Nevada, and it's a high banking, again, 3 pounds. He talks about adding gold from some, he's also expanding some claims: Arizona, Idaho, Nevada, California, and Oregon. And so I did just go back and check that as I was waiting for my camera to get a little bit more of a charge, and I do apologize for that, guys. It's the first time I've ever done that, and I hope to never do it again. So the name that you heard in the beginning, I'll do a little tab there that gives credit to the right person. I'm going to take these fines down again a few more times. Just because this black dirt is so thick. Actually, you can see that pan. I had to do this for a while. Actually, just gonna thin that a little bit out and just take the next level. We'll finally go through that material. This is really what most of the eBay sellers are telling you to do. As you know, tablespoon at a time. I shouldn't just say eBay sellers. I guess if I sold Paydirt, I want you to take your time to go through it too. Not rush like I've done in some of my reviews. As you guys all know, and hopefully you do if you've been listening, I do pan through all of this. You know, I pan right into a safety pan. Okay, maybe I should show you guys this too. So all of the material that we've been panning is in that safety pan, and then I repan that, and then when I empty out this container, I also repan that to see if there's any gold as well. Never had any gold in the bottom container. Have missed a few flakes in that before. Not so much of late, but in the beginning, when I first started panning, absolutely. And that's why you pan into a safety pan. And that's why, like I tell you, you know, technique is technique. There's a reason you do what you do, and how you pan, and whether you use a circular motion or side to side, or you tap or you don't tap, or you back pan or you don't back pan, you're gonna find the things that make you comfortable. Who cares what everybody else says? You know, if you're at the river prospecting, that's a whole nother story. You should be capturing gold and knowing that you're doing that. You know, if you're out there, otherwise what's the sense in going and doing the work and shoveling and you know, getting permits if that's what you're doing, and staking claim, or claim staking, excuse me. You know, if you're paying to go on a gold adventure, who knows? There's all kinds of different things that you guys do, and you know, for different occasions. Obviously, you'll want to be better at different things. So But with that safety pan, and as I've mentioned this probably numerous times before, you at least know that you're not losing the gold right now. And it helps you fine-tune those skills so you're not going to lose it later. You know, between you and I and all the viewers here, I don't think, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I don't think most of us, you know, enjoy completely the prospecting of buying a bag of Paydirt online. We all like going out. Some of us live in areas you can't do that. Some of us live in areas that there's not a lot of known gold for. That doesn't mean it's not out there, guys. It just means that it might not be in the $1 million concentrates you're all looking for. Rivers, creek beds, bedrock, that's where you want to spend your time. And again, all that little gold that's floating out there adds up at the end of the day. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't do that sooner, guys. And gals, I don't just mean to say guys. I know that I have plenty of women viewers, and thank you for that. When I say guys, it's generic. It's not sex related. So start saying ladies and gentlemen. We can make it real formal if you'd like. Alright, and then the one thing I need to do yet, because there are some fines here. Just a tip to sellers out there, just my personal opinion. Don't tape the tops of your bags on the bag that the Paydirt's in. You know, you get all of that. Who knows what's on that tape? I'm not going to get it all off. The seam cracks open, so it's all stuck in there. The bag tears open on the bottom. My suggestion, if you are watching, is to double bag. You double bag and tape the second bag with the hopes that it doesn't explode in transportation. Bubble wrap, another good idea. It's amazing that people can send electronics across the globe with a little bit of bubble wrap, but 10 pounds of Paydirt can't make it across the country without exploding in the box. So. And then the last thing is just that little, remember, because the bag was stored, or tore, excuse me, stored, I put it into this. Or use better bags. This is a bag that comes from another seller that I bought from. You know, this is, I don't know what ply, but he could really send that on his own, or on its own, with nothing else in it, and I wouldn't be, or I wouldn't be worried about getting it broken. You know, you never know what things are coming in. This stuff is full of debris. Again, I just do this in phases. I separate out the stuff that separates out nice right away. Get it out of those black sands. Suck it up. And just make sure you go through those black sand tailings. Because that's where you're going to find all this little fine microscopic gold. Flour gold. You hear people talk about flour gold. That's usually what they're talking about. It's that very, very small, microscopic almost, size gold. Now that's when you're starting to get down to 100 mesh. 100 mesh you can still see. 200 mesh you can kind of still see. When you start getting down into that 200 though, and into the negatives, that's when it starts to be a pain. So, all in all, doesn't look too bad. A couple nice flakes through there. And again, we'll get some of that out of there too. I got a little bit of more black sand to take out, but that's the take right there. So I'll pause it now and I'll come back and we'll have a weigh-in and a review. Alright guys, so that's what we got. 0.1 grams. Again, this bag, I gave the wrong information in the front of the video. This bag is from Nevada, from eBay seller Kramer. It was $20.80 with shipping, and it's from eBay seller Kramer, K-R-A-M-E-R 246769 fine, F-I-N-E. So maybe I can show you that there. Zoom it in. Doesn't work. Tried it. Overall rating, 0.1 grams of gold. There was a nice flake in there. It is Lightly salted. He said he does add a few flakes. So 0.1 grams, obviously we know it's about $4 or $5 in gold. So roughly a 25% return on investment. For that reason, good shipping, good customer service. You know, I had talked to him afterwards because his wife had sent out the package, and I didn't have a tracking number. He was great with customer service, real pleasure to talk to. So I might give him another try in the future. This bag, however, didn't turn out so well. So until next time, may there always be some color in your pan.